Good morning, everyone. We'll give folks a few minutes to join and then we'll get started today. Good morning, SWFL, Rebecca. How are you? All right. So you guys are on time, so let's get started. So today we're going to be chatting about a few different programs, and then I'm going to actually add another one in that's kind of interesting as far as listings and listing distribution. But we are going to start with talking about select services and a program we have called Spark. So if you obviously log into Leverage, first name dot last name at era.com, and then of course your password. If you have an issue with your password, you can reset that either by answering a security question or calling the 888 number in the lower right hand corner. But logging into Leverage, we're going to go to Agent Tools. And like I said, we're going to actually kind of dive into this listing distribution a little bit as well. But we're actually going to scroll down to the first one I just want to chat about and just kind of make sure you guys are aware of is this select services. So if I click that, there are just a bunch of partners that are with ERA that we've gone in as a mass and offers just discounts. So both these are actually designed for our agents. So but could be used across the board. So just scrolling down this list, you know, one that I use almost, yeah, I mean, I don't rent cars a whole bunch anymore. I used to do it more. But this Avis, this discount will give you 25% off. So, you know, just being aware that, you know, if you are, you know, looking for budget and, you know, signs, continuing ed, the CE shop, they offer a discount. Choice hotels, which there's a whole list of them. I think that's Best Western and in those kind of hotels. So, you know, more signs. You know, Office Depot offers discounts. Office Depot, Office Max. More signs. If you have not kind of peeked at this resort vacation certificate, you know, I've actually done it once, and I've actually given them away as a closing gift for, you know, for a few folks. They are more expensive as a closing gift, but you know, if it's somebody you wanted to do that to or could, or just any sort of gift. But just I'm going to click on this one just because it's kind of fun to play around with. But really, what this is you can buy a week's vacation for, I think the last time I bought one, it was $2.99. I'm not sure what the cost is now. But one thing that we can do is also they offer discounts on these all the time. So just you know, kind of pay attention to any emails you get from ERA, or it would be from RVC, the Resort Vacation Certificates. So the last one I saw that was on discount, I think was $250 maybe. And what it is obviously it does sort of matter when you go, but you can say, hey, I want to go somewhere, you know, December 1st to the 8th, or you can say, hey, I want to go to Florida December 1st to the 8th, and it's either going to give you options of where you can go, or if you pick a certain week, hey, these are the spots that are available. So just kind of a cool, you know, a cool little idea that, you know, you can use personally or, you know, as a gift of some sort. You know, it doesn't matter if you're an agent when you actually go to use it. And then Express Stocks, of course, is a partner of ours for all printing needs. So if you were going to do postcards, flyers, and things like that. Anybody have any questions on Select Services? Anybody used it personally as far as you know, any of the discounts?
People were needing that money and needing their paychecks. Yeah. Well, speaking of Hollywood, it's almost scared of the movie season.
Make sure some folks are muted so that we don't. Okay. So yeah, so that was Select Services. You know, Rebecca, I was kind of looking for the Verizon myself. I actually am going to ask if that still exists. I'm not exactly sure if the Verizon still exists. And Jim said he's used it for hotels. That's cool. So yeah, it's just you know, it's just you know, a great tool for us to have, kind of a bonus to get some discounts here and there. But I will check. I'm going to make a note. I will check on the Verizon discount because I think I still have it on my bill. But I don't see it here, so it might have expired for new folks, but I'll check on that. So that is Select Services. So again, under Agent Tools, Select Services, and you guys have all access to that. And each one of them is clickable, so you can kind of get more details and you know, on actually using it or finding out how big a discount might be, that type of thing. So the next piece we're going to talk about is Spark. So I'll be honest, I was hoping to click around in Spark, but there's actually a connection issue with all of Anywhere right now, apparently, with Spark. So I'm going to actually just kind of talk about it. There's some great flyers that I'll show you that will, you know, kind of talk about it. But it is basically, you know, so you join as a membership, and as you can join, a basic membership is $36. And if you want a premium membership, it's $72. So just make sure everyone's muted. So $72 for a premium membership. So just some of the ideas. So I'm going to actually just open up this. Let me see if I can get this to download. I may have to stop sharing and then reshare. Dan, can you see that flyer, or do I have to? Okay, cool. So this is Spark. So just an idea. Again, 36 bucks or 72. There's a few things. So Rod was in Florida last week, and Roger and I were talking about this. And being that it's what's it, Roger, Realtor Safety Month, right?
That's right. You got it. September is Realtor Safety Month.
Yeah, so we were talking about a platform called Forewarn, which is actually accessible through Spark. And what it is, and Roger, you can kind of maybe add, but it basically you can put a name of a client. So say Jim Smith calls you up and says, "Hey, I want to meet you at 123 Main Street. I want to see it." You can actually put Jim Smith into this Forewarn, and it will kind of do a background check of them. Make sure that that there isn't anything really sketchy about them. So kind of a cool platform, which kind of brought us to talking about Spark today. There's a lot more that I'll talk about that Spark involves, but Forewarn was that. So. And it's if you were to go to Forewarn, it's $240 to join a year. So, and again, invaluable if you used it once or twice and found out, man, Roger was saying, hey, put this in there, and if anything comes up, I may go with the agent to meet the client, or we're going to say, hey, Mr. Client, come into the office, let's meet here, and then we'll go look at the house. So again, just being totally conscious of who you're going to meet and where, and should you go alone or should you have someone with you, is that idea. But with the $72 membership, Forewarn is free. So the generic membership, 36 bucks, you pay for Forewarn. If you were to do the $72 a year premium Spark membership, Forewarn is free. So definitely something to look at and take a peek at, and see if it's something that's valuable to you. And you guys can look at this flyer later. I'm not going to actually check it all out, but basically other Spark benefits, every insurance you could want. So health, life, dental, vision, homeowners, rentals, rental policy, workers' compensation. So, and you'll see even as far as cyber liability and data breach insurance. So lots and lots of options for insurance benefits. So, if you don't have a policy and you're using it or getting your own insurance, it's definitely worth, checking out Spark and seeing if, maybe a health insurance policy through Spark. Again, the benefit here is I'm not going to an insurance company alone. I'm actually going to an insurance company with every Realogy or anywhere, Century 21, Coldwell Banker, ERA, every one of us, where there is a group. So the cost is potentially going to be lower because of that, because of the number we're taking to the insurance companies. And thus, joining, only paying $72, the benefit of Anywhere all being a part of Spark is getting Forewarn for free. Not just anyone can do that. I couldn't do it if I was going in by myself. But as a mass, we're getting great discounts. And then just, there is a 401k type platform, a retirement savings program through Spark. There are additional hotel and travel, car rental, and entertainment discounts through Spark. So lots of options there for us to sort of check out. You can, once we verify we have access in that the connection is fixed, we'll actually be able to check it out before you sign up. So you don't have to sign up for $72 and then say, let me check out insurance. You can actually play around with it and see what the costs and benefits are before joining, and then join, and then you could potentially use some of the programs. Also, just a few other things, continuing ed. So for Spark, it's through McCosick, and in CE Shop through the Select Services. And then, there are accounting services. So if you have any sort of need for those, even at our personal level, that's an option as well. So that is Spark. And again, you can check out this flyer, and I will definitely keep us all posted as far as, kind of getting access to that. I know they're literally working on it right now. I did get an email as I'm speaking, but I'll check it after. So I'm going to stop here. Anybody have any questions, any thoughts on Spark? Kind of see any benefit to it? Something you guys might be interested in?
Wayne, do you mind if I make a quick comment on that?
Absolutely, please do.
So on that Forewarn app, everyone, that, according to Forewarn, will screen about 80% of your callers, and will do it just based on the incoming phone call. And to give you an example of the power of this, I worked with an agent who had Forewarn, and she had received a call from a gentleman who wanted to meet her at a house for a showing. And she came into my office and she showed me what the Forewarn app had, the information that the Forewarn app had given to her, which caused her concern about doing that showing. It showed his criminal background. It showed also his financial wherewithal. It can give you vehicle and property records. And again, that's not going to be 100%. It's about on 80% of the callers. But what it did for us is the criminal record that was there was not like really, really terrible bad. I think it was, as I recall, maybe it was a DUI or something like that. I'm not saying that that's not bad, folks, but it wasn't like a violent sort of a thing. But she was still concerned about it based on what she was seeing there. So we made sure that she had someone to go with her on that showing. We ended up doing a demonstration in my sales meeting at my office at the time, and I called in somebody's phone with Forewarn, and we screencast that onto the overhead, and all of the information that came up on me was accurate, and it was very eye-opening how much information there was about me. So all of it was good and clean, Wayne. Nothing unsavory, nothing unsavory there. But I was really impressed. So I think for, what do we say, Wayne, $72 a year, and you get Forewarn for free. Well worth it, because we all know that safety is paramount all year long, but this is the time of year when we in the industry tend to talk about it. So I appreciate, Wayne, you bringing this to everyone's attention.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you, definitely adding that, Roger. And I mean, just think about, the benefit to, that initial phone call, or being able to, add info. Obviously, if someone emailed you or, did some sort of other contact with you, it can be a little scary. And I'd be honest, I don't always think about, I don't run to a showing the second someone calls. But I often don't necessarily think about, who am I meeting? Should I worry about that? So the idea that, a platform is out there to sort of give me a heads up every single time, bring up my awareness, it's definitely worth considering in the minimal cost of $72 a year. And getting Forewarn again because of the connection with ERA, offering that to us at a discount. Definitely seeing the benefits more. Every time I think about it or talk about Spark. Anybody else have any thoughts? Any even after what Roger added? Anybody?
Yeah, Wayne.
Yeah.
Wayne, Greg Large here, and that Forewarn app is something that our our MLS here in Columbus offers to its agents at no cost. And
Okay.
I would say that the Spark deal is, if you don't have it for free through your MLS, that is a really good deal. That app is wonderful. Like he said, like Roger said before, it'll give you their current address, and all kinds of good stuff.
Excellent. Excellent. Love it. So yeah, and then, so that, obviously forewarned kind of our, potentially our main topic here, but not to discount, the potential savings for you, if any insurance, could be a benefit to you, or, the discounts that it would offer through, for hotel, travel, car, etc.
Hey, Wayne, this is Al Rosser.
Hey, Al.
Has anybody on the call, or do you know of anybody who's used the insurance, the health insurance, or gotten it through Spark?
I do not. I'm going to actually show you guys this insurance and benefits flyer.
Hey, Wayne, while you're pulling that up, can I just respond to Al there? I had an agent at another Anywhere brand that I worked at that swore by the health insurance as well as the retirement. It was like a solo 401k. He was very, very pleased with all of that. So I speaking, from him, I would say it's something worth looking into.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this is the flyer regarding, kind of the insurance and benefits piece. So obviously, it can't give us prices and stuff, because obviously we know, every single person would be different, but definitely, something to think about, especially with the cost of everything nowadays. So, if it potentially could help you out with, maybe health, maybe car or home, homeowners, anything. So, so appreciate you guys kind of adding some pieces, and yeah, we'll definitely, Al, I'll just kind of put out a feeler to some other brokers and maybe some folks at ERA to see if we have any other, folks that have used it and found it beneficial. Definitely seeing, some value there in doing a little research to see if it helps you, for sure. That, at least on my part too. So
Awesome. Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. And Rebecca put in chat, I use the auto insurance plan with Travelers through Spark, just compared prices, and they're still the cheapest for us. So so yeah, so awesome. Definitely worth looking into and seeing, so many different levels that could be beneficial to you. In today's world, it doesn't hurt at all to compare, for sure. So and then just, I'll just kind of show you this Spark trifle. And again, these are things that are designed, for you to take a peek at, obviously just to be familiar with it. But, there is, great, I called the 8833 number, I called it, a person answered me right away. So, definitely was cool to talk to a person, and I didn't go through 15 prompts of, click this. It was, am I a member or not? And I wasn't, not at the time. And then a person answered. So that was kind of cool to know that there's a person on the other end if we do have any questions or issues or need any info. So it's a great page, a little video here, just an introduction video. So definitely worth checking out. Again, this Get Started Now is giving us an error code. They are working on it. So as soon as I know that that's fixed and up and running, I'll make sure I send a mass message out so that you guys can, get in here and sign up if you want to, but certainly check it out a little bit more. Cool. Any other questions? I do want to show you a listing distribution platform that we have as well, but yeah, Kat says I'd be interested in the health insurance, yeah, private plan. So, Kathy, I totally agree. So, I'm kind of interested now since it sort of came back into, my forefront to kind of go down the line. I have no issue like shopping my homeowners, shopping my car. We kind of get stuck with one folks and don't necessarily think about it and pay the bill, but I'm interested to compare for sure. So thank you for that. Any other questions, comments on either Select Services or Spark before I kind of start chatting about the listing distribution? All right. So under agent tools, and this is kind of, away from the conversation up to this point, but just thought we could add it to it, add to our chat today. But this tab under agent tools in Leverage, listing distribution. So, and it's called List Track. So once I say open List Track, so obviously I have the dashboard for the whole company, but you would actually have access to, obviously just your listings. But this is a platform that will show once you see it, stats and views and everything about your listings, seller report. So this is the dashboard. In the last 30 days, it talks about, how many clicks we've had, on just our listings. And when I say our listings, our entire company's listings, the number of inquiries, views and when things are hitting. This is so cool for you to just check out. You can actually, at any point when you see in the last 30 days, if you click this, you can do custom. So even if you kind of wanted to check it out, if you don't have a listing now, or if you had a listing and be like, oh man, I'm curious maybe how many views I had on a particular, you can always go, back and go, hey, from the beginning of the year, give me all my views. So kind of think about, when I see this page, I immediately think about, I have this conversation all the time about, setting yourself apart. What can I do to set myself apart? We have, we know so many agents and there are so many agents. And if I'm going to get in front of someone, how do I set myself apart? And, if you have your stats, mixed into your listing presentation, or if your stats, I average 3,000 views on my listings, if I, whatever that is. So you can see in the last 30 days, our listings have had 122,000 views, 122,000 views, and then we track the MLS, 35,000 in the MLS, and then just realtor. So, obviously this is company level, but, knowing yours would be huge. So, and if you want these views from our company level, please do not hesitate to ask. I can print this out. I can export them so that you can take, like, working with, I always say this listing presentation, we sell ERA, we sell ERA Real Solutions in the family of ERA Real Solutions, and then you sell you. So let us help you sell ERA in the Real Solutions family. And then, you selling, hey, this is my listing. This is what I do with it for each one. So, so this dashboard, it will actually show, it's so cool. This will actually show where, and obviously being that we are in Ohio, you can tell, and Southwest Florida. But the idea that, as you bring this in, you could actually tell exactly where all our clicks are coming from. And hotspot seems to be Cincy in the last 30 days, but obviously Columbus and Cleveland are are hotspots as well. So that, just pretty cool little stats and ideas that we can use, when we're talking to a client or trying to, present to whoever as to why they should work with us. Our top agents. So Koba, who is in our Southwest Florida office, in the last 30 days on his listings, 8,600 views on total. So that's Zillow, MLS, every site that we're tracking, ERA.com. And then Mark, who's in our Southwest Florida as well, just popping right up there, 7,700 views, almost 7,800. So, Samantha, who is in our Cincy area. So, so it's just awesome to have those stats. And then even by price, where are the views coming from? So that is kind of the dashboard of listing distribution. If I actually go to listings, and again, this would just show yours. I'm actually going to show the entire company. So now we can kind of just scroll down through here and you can see view online analytics. You can actually schedule a delivery of a seller report. So think about, adding your seller's email address in here, name and email, and them just getting a report on what's happening. So, yes, I'm going to call you and let you know what's happening, but what about them getting an email from you with a graphic type report showing these are how many views your property had, these are how many inquiries, this is where these folks are coming from, pretty cool option to be able to send this to folks. And I'll just quick show you this. This is the seller report, and it's just a preview. So if you could literally look at this and go, well, do I want to send it to them? Or do I want to make the date a little bit bigger and then send it to them? But so this is kind of the life of the listing as far as this property goes. June to now, 265 property views, where the views are coming from, where the top 10 cities they're coming from, which is this. If this isn't eye-opening for us as we look at this is a Florida property. Okay, so the views, yes, Zillow leading the thing, the MLS not far behind, Realtor not far behind. So the chunk is coming from them, but look where the cities are coming from. Missouri, 2 Floridas, Michigan, Nebraska, Ohio, Utah, Canada, Minnesota, and Michigan are the top 10 cities. 2 Florida and a bunch from elsewhere. So, and that's typically why the Zillow and the Realtor are always higher numbers, is because, these folks may not be on, in MLS, have access to the MLS. They're just going online and going, Cape Coral or Fort Myers properties for sale. And then they typically will get to Zillow or Realtor. But very interesting to be able to send this to your seller and say, look, like we're getting views, this is where they're coming from. So in being all graphic, it's not a bunch of paragraphs and things like that. It's just a clean, simple, and totally branded. So Michael is an agent with us in our Fort Myers Beach office. So totally branded to him, his cell number, his email. As you see, I hover over this. If I'm on my phone, I can actually click this button and call him. If I want to email him, it's clickable right from the report. So, whoever you send this to, including the seller, it's totally branded to the agent. So, and I was playing with a listing yesterday. So this listing, just the stats sort of caught my eye. So view online analytics. So anytime you wanted to see what is going on with your property or know what you're sending the seller, this is kind of what you get to see. So this is all the stats on just one property. So 806 views, so this is in the last 30 days, down 4%. So it's even going to kind of throw out a stat as far as the previous 30 days. Someone shared it, but in the last 30 days, 456 views on Zillow, then the MLS and then Realtor, the dates, like for some reason, there was a spike on September 9th or maybe 9th or 10th. which is interesting. You know, I'm not quite sure why, but you always kind of wonder. You know, a bunch of folks went on Zillow that day, but you know, kind of just curious looking at this, and you can see, you know, in IDX feed, you know, which one's the MLS. So anything, it's totally, you know, so easy to see as you're, you know, as you're clicking through for whatever you want to see. You know, Zillow, you know, kind of hovering over each of the platforms. Again, the map. So now this is just on that one property. You can see a hot spot in Florida. That's where the property is. But also, you know, looks like Chicago-ish area. Minnesota's a hot spot. You know, it's hotter in Ohio because it's dark green. Vegas, you know, had enough inquiries or folks that viewed it to kind of show up. So, you know, just kind of always interesting, you know, could we do something with that? You know, well, if I had a property in Southwest Florida, I would probably try to figure out how to market to some hotspots. So, you know, some ideas that we could definitely use. But again, just, you know, just the type of report in info that we have that we can use for this listing and potentially the next one, or to get the next one, you know, to make our sellers happy. You know, if we send this something to a seller and they're talking to someone else, that's how referrals happen. So you're like, oh, my agent, you know, this report, this, you know, my agent sends me, like, no one else has sent me that. No one else can send me that. So, you know, definitely a great page to use, you know, for us and for, you know, client growth and client retention. So I'm going to pause for a minute and just check the, yeah, Roger. I mean, pretty cool. The, you know, yeah, Roger mentioned expireds and for sale by owners. So, you know, just, you know, I can't stress, you know, how we need to be different. So I've done this in my workshops in Florida and, you know, in Ohio lately. You know, we have so many tools, we have so many platforms that separate us from other agents and other brokerages, that, you know, once we start using them, you know, folks are amazed, and that's what we need in today's world with the number of agents and in the market still being crazy enough that folks may think they can do stuff on their own, or we aren't worth, you know, 6% or 7%. We're not worth it. Like, you guys, you know, what do you do for that? You know, anything we can do to separate it, you know, separate us from the rest or impress them, you know, is so important. And tools like this, platforms like this help. Yeah, Christina, like connecting to an ER agent in a hotspot area. So, I mean, if you zoomed in and saw, you know, Chicago, you know, Megan can definitely help us, you know, connect with a brokerage in a certain area, and potentially use that as a referral. Hey, let's chat. Let you talk to your folks. I'll talk to my folks. You know, we could very well know the two, you know, the folks that are looking at our properties in Florida or Ohio. I mean, just because I used a Florida example does not mean that this, you know, the same idea isn't happening in Ohio, whether it's within Ohio or other states looking to, you know, to move there. So lots of good things there, and appreciate the comments. I'm going to just pause for a minute. Any questions? Anybody want to, you know, kind of add anything to this, or have you checked it out? Hopefully you will now if you haven't.
Hey, Wayne, this is Al Rosser. I'm driving, so I can't type a comment or question.
No, you're good.
But I wanted to talk about, I know many of you know, the MLS issues we're having here in Cincinnati. And with this list track, Wayne, can you talk about how the listings get into list track, or the various ways they can get in there? And if list track does the syndication itself, or is that based on the syndication from MLS? Because that's some of the issues we're having down here in Cincinnati with our MLS system that we had to kind of quickly switch to. And in the meantime, I think it would be great if agents know if they can actually put their listings directly into our website, connect it to ListTrack and then have it syndicated out to these sites without having to rely on MLS. So can you talk about that or how that works?
Well, so when we enter just our general platform, when we enter a listing in the MLS, we have a platform sort of in our back office that grabs that listing and brings it into our world. And when I say our world, ERA's world. So we literally used to have to enter it in the MLS and then enter it in our system. Now we have a platform that brings it over. So it's sort of twofold here. So we actually have a connection with all of the syndicated sites via us and the MLS sort of combined. So it's a little rare in the instance that Cincy's in, with the MLS issues, but once it's in our system, we start, we track it individually and we track it via the MLS. So when we have a listing in the MLS, it feeds directly to most third-party sites directly from the MLS. Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia, that they have IDX feeds with the MLS, so it gets so that gets fed out right from the MLS. When we bring it in our system, although we can still track all of those clicks, we feed it to like ERA.com. So we feed it directly to ERA.com. MLS feeds it directly to all of the or most of the third-party sites. So as far as tracking it individually, it really, I mean, obviously it needs to be in the MLS, and if it was going to be an issue with us getting a hold of that, so once it's in the MLS, all this is being done without the MLS's help, essentially. So once it's in the MLS, we grab it, and then all of this happens. So there's really not a need, to do anything extra other than, once it's in the MLS, know that all of these tools, everything that we do, will happen because we grab it from the MLS and then sort of take it over as far as these reports and these platforms go.
So a quick follow up with that. So what I'm hearing is, so for example, the 2 weeks when we had no MLS, right? Did we then not have a way to enter our listings directly into our site to be able to syndicate and still have these features if there is no MLS per se?
Yes. In that case, we had nothing to grab. We do have the ability to enter these, enter listings manually and get them into our system. We used to have the ability to put them in or bring them into our system and then feed them to Zillow, feed them to Realtor. That connection is broke via Zillow wanting to go directly to MLS. Wasn't us. But yeah, we do have the ability to enter a listing manually in our system to get these tools working. Yes, we do.
Okay.
And Wayne,
happy to chat
Thank
more
you.
about that. Al, with you in for the Cincy situation.
I just think too, this is kind of a, the situation that happened with Rapatoni and MLS, and it didn't just happen to Cincinnati. It happened to other cities. I think that's just a eye opener for companies to think about maintaining the ability to enter our listings and get them syndicated within our own ecosystems and not be fully dependent on MLSs that, outside of our control, if that makes sense. So,
Totally.
and I understand you said Zillow cut that off, but, Zillow's, I'm a Zillow hater anyway, but, I think we just need to, think about having better control and more control over getting our listings out and not being solely dependent on any MLS in any city because any of that can happen at any time, and this should be our backup or our core system, and MLS is the backup, if you know what I mean, so to speak. So
Yeah, totally get you. And believe me, I believe a lot of folks' eyes were opened with what happened recently. A lot of folks are second guessing. Zillow, I think, is second guessing, just wanting things from the MLS only. So yeah, definitely something that just know, yes, we can use all of our tools. We can use all of our listing tools and presentation tools and everything. Even if there wasn't an MLS, we have the ability to do it all in-house. So.
okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Hey, Wayne, it's Julia. Just to follow up to Al's question, I know you said Zillow chose to go strictly with just getting data from the MLS. What about Realtor or Trulia or anybody else? Is it just Zillow or is it any IDX like that?
Yeah, it's most of them. So I actually have an email in this morning because I'm working on something else, and I have an email in to see where we may still syndicate to. And I think if we do it internally with, I say ERA, I think that list is going to be very, very small, if any. So, Realtor, Zillow, all of them sort of basically what they said is we want control. So, when it goes to ERA and we need it from ERA, like, we might not get it, but if it's in the MLS, we want it. So they made deals with all the MLSs. So, and bought their way in and now have that direct IDX feed. So, so I'll let you guys know, who, if any, who we kind of control to, and not that we couldn't, I know some folks were putting listings out themselves on Zillow just to get it out there,
Right.
especially in Cincy. But I'll kind of let you guys know what we find out as far as, who we may still syndicate to, but they kind of, for the most part, all yanked out and kind of just went right to the MLS and said, we want the data right from you. Basically we had no choice. Like, what are we going to do? So,
Right. No, I appreciate that. I just wanted to make sure I understood, because we had that discussion internally in the office, and I'm sorry for you people in Florida and Columbus and that don't have to deal with this, that we're hogging all this time, but it's been a crazy month. But Wayne, I do have one other question. I was on a call when you first got to this page. Could you tell me how you got to this dash section?
Yeah, absolutely. So just back in leverage, it's just under listing distribution.
Okay.
Agent tools and then listing distribution.
Okay, perfect. I will find it from there. Thank you.
Yeah, and then it starts with the dashboard and then listings and then seller report. So when I just to kind of let me go back here. I just want to make sure you guys know when I go to the listings, and please, if anyone else has any questions, either throw it in chat or unmute yourself and and just start talking, please. But just when I go to this online analytics back to just one listing, when I said we can change this. So, number of views is the default's always the last 30 days. If I click this, I could do, hey, last week, but I can also do life of listing. And then just see, this particular property has since it's been listed, has over 10,000 views. So, so again, you can kind of back this up. I can picture using this as a tool to impress the sellers. Like, hey, this, I'm doing a little bit more than just sticking the sign in the yard. This is where I'm marketing it. This is where I market my properties. This is where we market our properties. Lots of conversations. If you have 10,000 views, you have one showing, can you use it as a discussion about, a price improvement, so lots of ideas that you might be able to use this in, but can't stress the idea of just using this to impress a seller with, hey, I work a little bit different. So, and each one of these is different. So you could leave this one as 30 days, every single one of these can be, just its own little graph. this is the map. So now you're kind of showing the 10,000 views. I mean, you know, if you don't think the Northeast still may want to move to Florida, check out the map. There's enough clicks, and oddly enough, it looks like there's some in Colorado. So again, just always interesting to kind of see this, and you can use it, you know, just as another tool to show the seller where you are marketing, or obviously if you wanted to attempt to market to a certain area, you know, it's offering that as well. And then just, you know, seller report history. Again, you have access to your dashboard. So this is always just a report of who you've sent to, when they've gotten a report. Again, this is entire company. So, you know, you can actually tell if it was opened. So, you know, so this is Julie's an agent with us in our Cape office. So, you know, the report was sent, it was opened. So, you know, just kind of cool to know, and whether that, you know, creates a conversation, or, you know, hey, at least, you know, they opened it. You know, here's Julie sending one, you know, a week before that wasn't opened. So, you know, does that trigger a conversation with a seller? You know, hey, just wanted to make sure you knew that I sent you the report. You know, but then you can see that he opened it the week later. So, delivery failure. So, you know, obviously an issue with this email likely. So Roger, I don't know if you want to check on that, but you know, if it matters, if the property's still available, but if this is the seller, it doesn't appear to be getting delivered because of potentially a bad email. But again, you guys have access to this, and this would just be, you know, your folks, your sellers, and it would just keep track of it from, you know, from the start. So you can even go back and check things out if you wanted to. And then just, you know, again, you have an activity log of everything that you've been doing, you know, which agent, you know, listing metrics, which property, etc. So that is listing distribution. Anybody have any questions about that? Any additional thoughts? Definitely worth checking out. I think, you know, if I'm a seller and you sent me a report that showed, you know, if you send it weekly and I know you're working, I know you're marketing my property, it's getting clicks, it's getting views, whatever, you know, I think that tool is amazing. And I can't stress also enough that you know, get your stats together. And if you were to, you know, start using these stats in a listing presentation, you know, whether you showed them this or just had, you know, stats like, hey, I average, like I said, average this number of views, or, you know, let me just kind of show you a report that you would get if, you know, if you were my client, you'd get this weekly, you'd know exactly what I'm doing for you. You know, definitely a lots of Angel, which, are you talking about the activity log? Which page? Or Angel asked if I would go back to the last page. So yeah, so I was on this activity log, which is, you know, just kind of, you know, everything that, and again, I'm company wide, but everything that you've been doing. So you can see literally the last, you know, somebody accessed their dashboard. So I'm curious. Oh, that's me. So, you know, I access my dashboard. So you know, everything. Yeah. So Tracy, you're. Oh yeah. I just Angel. I just realized that. Yeah. So I just realized this is you. So so yeah, you accessed your dashboard on 9/21, which is today. So, and then just some things that you were checking out. So. All right. Any other questions? Anything else that I can show you as far as this goes? Any questions on Spark or Select Services? Awesome. Well, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for joining. Hopefully it's helpful. I will keep you posted on Spark, and please check out listing distribution, and hopefully it's a tool that you can use moving forward. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of the day.